The Great Pyramid was built for a pharaoh. At least that's what they told us. But the deeper we dig, the more it appears to be a lie. What if it wasn't a tomb at all? What if instead it's a vault and hidden deep inside is the Ark of the Covenant?
This morning, a new discovery inside the Great Pyramid of Giza.
The most sacred object in Judeo-Christian history, sealed away for 2,500 years beneath the world's most mysterious monument. In 2017, scientists used advanced scanning technology to peer inside the pyramid without ever touching a single stone. What they found stunned the world. A massive hidden chamber, over 100 feet long, sealed and untouched for over 4 millennia. They called it the Big Void. It was the first major discovery inside the Great Pyramid in over 1,000 years. No one knew what was inside, but just as the world began asking questions, Egypt shut it all down. No digging, no cameras, no explanation, just silence. Why would they block access to the greatest archaeological find of the century? Some believe the answer lies in one of the most powerful and most mysterious objects in Judeo-Christian tradition, the Ark of the Covenant. According to legend, it held the stone tablets given to Moses on Mount Sinai. But it was more than that. The Ark was said to carry the literal presence of God, so sacred it could bring victory in war, or death to anyone who touched it unworthily. And after Jerusalem was destroyed in 587 BC, the Ark vanished. No one knows what happened to it. No record of its destruction. No confirmed sightings. Just theories. But one theory suggests it was smuggled out of Jerusalem and taken to Egypt, where it was hidden inside the most secure structure on Earth, the Great Pyramid. If you wanted to hide something forever, this would be the place. Sealed in solid limestone, protected by trap-filled corridors, surrounded by myths, legends, and secrecy. And now, thousands of years later, we have a new chamber. One never seen, never entered, right above the Grand Gallery, right where ancient texts once hinted at deeper secrets, and we're not allowed to look inside. Why? To understand, we need to go back, because this isn't the first time Egypt has shut down a promising discovery. In 1993, a German engineer named Rudolf Gantenbrink was exploring the Queen's Chamber. Unlike the King's Chamber, where the big sarcophagus sits, the Queen's Chamber had long been ignored. But Gantenbrink was curious about 2 small shafts extending from its walls. Most believed they were ventilation shafts, but something about them seemed off. So he built a robot, small, lightweight, equipped with a light and a camera, and he sent it crawling up one of the shafts. At first it looked like nothing, just stone. Then the shaft began angling upward about 40 degrees, and it kept going, 10 feet, 20, 50, 90 yards. Then suddenly, the camera stopped. The robot had reached something, a limestone door. But this wasn't just any door. It had 2 copper handles, something never seen anywhere else in the Great Pyramid. No one had an explanation, and Gantenbrink believed it was more than a wall. He was convinced something was behind it. He asked permission to continue, to drill a tiny hole and send in a micro camera. The response? Number Zahi Hawass, the powerful head of Egypt's Antiquities Department, shut it down. No further access, no explanation, just like with the Big Void. And if you think that sounds familiar, it should, because it keeps happening. Every time someone gets close to uncovering something that might challenge the official story of Egypt's past, the same thing happens. Denials, shutdowns, silence. Hawass has built a career on guarding Egypt's narrative.
Number 1, that pyramids built by Egyptians because of the names that we found inside the cemetery.
And he's been accused more than once of blocking discoveries that don't align with the approved version of history.
I would like to announce in front of the Great Pyramid of Giza that Egypt and the Ministry of Antiquities and Tourism to announce a great discovery in Egypt.
He once told a reporter, "When I do archaeology, you listen to me. Shut up. That's not science. That's control." And it begs the question, what are they trying to hide? Because here's the thing, the Great Pyramid itself shouldn't exist. Not the way we've been taught. Let's look at the numbers. The pyramid is made from 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. These stones weren't just stacked randomly. They were placed with incredible precision, So exact that even today you can't fit a razor blade between many of them. No mortar, just perfect cuts. And this was supposedly done 4,500 years ago, before the wheel was invented. Some of the stones came from quarries over 500 miles away. That's farther than the distance between New York and Cleveland. Moving that weight across that terrain, with no trucks, no cranes, and no iron tools, it's beyond belief. Modern crews have tried to replicate it using cranes, hydraulic lifts, and modern technology, and even they have failed. In one famous test, the cables snapped. The machine buckled. A single 30-ton stone was too much. So how did ancient Egyptians, armed with copper chisels and wooden sleds, move 80-ton granite blocks and set them perfectly into place? Now let's talk timing. We're told the Great Pyramid was built in just 20 years. That's 2.3 million stones in 20 years, which means placing roughly one block every 4.5 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no breaks, no mistakes, and no injuries, for 2 straight decades. Even with today's best technology, that would be nearly impossible. And it gets weirder. The pyramid is aligned to true north with 99.94% accuracy. That's more precise than the Paris Observatory. Its base is nearly a perfect square. Its corners line up almost exactly with the cardinal directions, and its design encodes advanced math. If you take the perimeter of the base and divide it by twice the height, you get 3.14159, the value of pi. If you take the surface area of all 4 sides and divide it by the base area, you get 1.618, the golden ratio, phi. These numbers weren't discovered in textbooks until thousands of years later, but somehow they're baked into the pyramid. Even the latitude of the Great Pyramid, 29.9792458 degrees north, is the exact same number as the speed of light in meters per second, 299,792,458. Coincidence? Or evidence of knowledge far beyond what ancient Egyptians were supposed to possess? Some say the Great Pyramid wasn't a tomb at all. It was a machine, and there's reason to believe that. The pyramid was built using quartz-rich granite, especially in the king's chamber. Quartz can generate electricity under pressure. It's called the piezoelectric effect. That means the pyramid, when exposed to vibration, could have produced energy. Underneath the pyramid are natural water channels. Some researchers think they might have been used to create resonance, like a giant tuning fork. In the 1980s, electronics engineer Joe Parr tested pyramid models in magnetic fields. He claimed they generated an energy bubble, a force field that blocked radiation. Then he spun the models in a centrifuge. He said they became weightless. One even vanished briefly from physical space. Was the pyramid an ancient power plant? A machine designed to harness Earth's energy? Or was it built to protect something sacred? That brings us back to the Ark of the Covenant. The timing fits. The Ark vanished in the late 6th century BC, just as many Jews fled to Egypt. The Great Pyramid was already ancient by then, empty, silent, perfectly sealed. If you needed a place to hide the holiest object on Earth, this would be it. The Big Void is directly above the Grand Gallery. Some biblical scholars believe the Ark was always meant to be kept in a chamber above the people, separate and sacred, hidden from view. And now we have a mysterious space that matches that description. Discovered, then sealed again. We don't know what's in there, but we're not allowed to find out. Because every time someone gets close, every time someone finds a sealed door, or a strange reading, or a void in the stone, Egypt says no. They're not investigating, they're preventing investigation, just like they did with the Sphinx. In the early 90s, researcher John Anthony West noticed deep water erosion around the base of the Sphinx. Not from sand or wind, but from rain. Heavy rain. The kind Egypt hasn't seen for over 11,000 years. His conclusion? The Sphinx was far older than anyone thought. Built by a civilization lost to time. He was banned from further study. The pattern is clear. Discover something unusual. You're shut down. Suggest the timeline is wrong? You're silenced. Find evidence that ancient Egyptians might have inherited knowledge instead of creating it from scratch. You're labeled a fraud. But when you stack all the evidence, the impossible construction, the math, the location, the mysterious materials, the sealed voids, it all starts to feel intentional. like the pyramid is more than a monument. It's a message, one that's been buried under centuries of dogma, bureaucracy, and fear. Because if the truth about the Great Pyramid ever came out, if it turned out that history isn't what we've been taught, it would change everything. Our understanding of civilization, of technology, of religion, of who we are and where we came from. And maybe that's why they won't open the chamber. Because whatever's inside, it doesn't fit the story.